Hello everyone and welcome. This is our first time sitting down together since my last trip. It's been a while since we've sat down together, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm really excited to be here today. We have Christmas-fied the place. That is coming in an upcoming vlog. We are doing Vlogmas this year, which means 25 videos in the month of December. It's gonna be crazy. We've got our coffee ready today. I got this mug from Winners. We have some Disney Joffrey's coffee in here. We've just Christmas-fied the place. I wanted to wear ears today. We're going for the whole thing. But today we are talking about my last Disney trip, and we're actually gonna be talking about what it cost me. So I'm gonna be doing a full cost breakdown on everything. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be including everything from hotels, flights, how much I spent on food, ways I was able to save money, all that kind of stuff, just in hopes that maybe it gives you a better idea for what you might want to or need to budget for your Disney trip. Also, I know the lighting is a little wonky today. I don't do a lot of sit-down videos anymore, so we're working on finding a good spot, but realistically the lighting is just, it's not going to be it. But we're mainly going to be focusing on my little Excel spreadsheet with the whole breakdown here anyway. So just a little summary of my trip before we get started. I am from Canada, so everything I have here is either in Canadian or US dollars. I've tried to do the exchange the best as possible. If I paid for something in US dollars, it came out in Canadian dollars on my credit card, so you will be able to see what that rate is. Other stuff is just gonna be in Canadian dollars, other stuff is just gonna be in the US dollars. I did my best to calculate what I could. So I went to Disney World from November 1st to November 6th this year, so 5 nights, 6 days. I stayed at Disney's All-Star Music Resort, and I do have an annual pass. So park tickets I did not include in this breakdown because I do have that Disney annual pass. That is obviously going to be an additional cost that you would need to consider. But because I have that annual pass, that is one reason why I'm able to go more often, because I don't have to consider park tickets in all my trips. I'm going to pull up my spreadsheet here so you all can see. Okay, so as you can see here, I've kind of divided stuff out into different categories. I have what my hotel, flight, merch, snacks, quick service, all that, what that cost me. You'll see the breakdowns as I go through them, but I did just want to start out going through things one by one, and then we can talk about the totals after. So first off, the hotel. The hotel at All-Star Music was a total of $945.47 US dollars. There was a deal I was able to get on that. I'm not sure if it was like an annual pass holder deal or just like a save 20%. I don't actually remember what deal I was able to put on that, but I was able to save about $100 on the total cost, 100 US dollars that way. So that was a big thing, but it came out to $945.47 with tax. Obviously from that I paid a deposit originally and then the full price Canadian after we left the hotel. My friend Ariane did stay with me, so she only stayed with me for 2 nights. So she paid half the cost for those 2 nights. Which came out to the prices there. So in total in Canadian for my hotel stay, I paid $966.36 Canadian dollars, or $762.47 US dollars, which I think is pretty good, especially if you are staying with like a family of 4 or something, or if you and your friend are staying together the whole time and you want to split it. I would never necessarily recommend putting 4 adults in an all-star room, just because it can get a little cramped and a little crowded. But if you have 2 adults, 2 kids, that would be fine, or 2, maybe 3 adults. You could definitely get away with a all-star room. So I would highly recommend that. I was able to stay in a renovated room, so here you can see kind of the room that we were able to stay in. It was a really nice room and really great cost too. We did just get a standard room, so nothing special. As for the flight, I got a deal with WestJet, so this is obviously all in Canadian dollars. I paid $295.55 from Toronto to Orlando. That's a really good flight deal. That's why I decided to go with those dates. I did book my flight first, so I saw that the flight deal was on, and then I went and searching for hotel deals and such, because the flight was such a good deal. Usually anything under $300 is a good deal flying direct from Toronto to Orlando. On top of that, I paid baggage fees both directions, so I did pay them in advance, because now if you buy them like the day before with WestJet, you have to pay more money, so I paid for that in advance and it was 63 Canadian dollars. I could have just went with a carry-on, but just because I was going for a longer trip, it was just easier for me to pack a larger suitcase, then I could bring sunscreen and all that kind of stuff, not have to worry about buying more things down there. In total, I found it was cheaper to bring a bag than it was to just bring the essentials and buy other things down there. So going from the Orlando airport to Walt Disney World, I needed some sort of transportation. I decided to take the Mears Connect shuttle. There are other options. I chose Mears Connect just because I did find it was the best option. It's the one I've used before. They used to run the Magical Express. I've never had any problems with them. They are $32 US dollars, tax included, and that came out to $44.72 Canadian dollars. For me, obviously, that was cheaper than getting an Uber, but if you do have a larger family, like a family of 4 or something, maybe the Uber might be the more effective cost. You'll definitely want to price that out. I will mention, not sponsored, but I do have an affiliate link. I used my Neo Financial MasterCard to pay for all of this. Neo Financial is a no-fee MasterCard, and the $4.99 that I pay additionally every month gives me more travel benefits. So there's a bunch of benefits included, but the one I find the most beneficial to me is the 2% cash back. So on my Disney hotel stay, on my Mears, on my WestJet, all of that, I got 2% cash back on all of that. So that's a really good way to save, especially when you consider I paid $1,000 for the hotel. Well, that's $20 cash back right there. So I was able to get a lot of cash back, which has also really helped me with saving. I'm going to link down below how much free cash you can get right now by signing up for Neo. My affiliate link works so you get free cash and I get free cash. So if you did want to sign up for Neo, I highly recommend using my link down below, and I'll put whatever deal they currently have on down there as well. And yeah, if you're thinking about getting a new MasterCard, I use my Neo card every single day and I highly recommend it. So moving on from hotel and flight, those are like the basics of a vacation. These are things most people will budget for, and then it comes down to the kind of inconsistent costs such as food. I put my different categories are food, quick service, coffee, merch, and then I do have an emergency trip cost or unexpected expenses that don't really fit in each category, that I just kind of wanted to go over. So these are things that you probably won't incur. I'm really hoping you don't incur on your trip, but these are expenses that I did have to incur on my trip. So first off, let's just go over quick service, meals, and snacks. So these prices are all in Canadian dollars. So what I did is I went to Walmart before I left for my trip and I bought a bunch of Disney gift cards. The cool thing about Disney gift cards is they do the current conversion. There's no extra transaction fees, bank fees, nothing like that. It is whatever the transaction, whatever the currency exchange is at the time. So I don't use my credit cards when I'm purchasing quick service in Disney and stuff like that, because there is an additional fee on top of the exchange fee from the bank. I believe it's, depending on your bank, anywhere from like 2% to 5% just to do that exchange. Purchasing Disney gift cards, I'm able to save money. I know a lot of people have other ways of doing things. A lot of people have different credit cards that don't have fees. They pay extra for that. This is what I find just works best for me. I know some people are also able to go to their local Sam's Club. They save up points at their grocery store or wherever, so they're able to get free Disney gift cards. I've gotten free Disney gift cards off of Disney movie rewards before. Basically, I use Disney gift cards and that is why I do so. I try not to use my credit card when I am in the US. I try to avoid that at all costs. So these are just the different costs I did incur throughout my trip for food. These are all of them, everything I paid for food. I can't tell you exactly where, but I did go through all my gift card transactions and this is everything that was for some sort of quick service food restaurant. This was me eating about 2 meals a day. I did bring bagels a lot in the morning for breakfast, or I just ate like a larger lunch. On average, I was buying 2 meals a day at Disney plus like a couple snacks here and there. So that was kind of the overall vibe. So if you do plan on buying all 3 meals in Disney, maybe you'll want to budget more. If you plan on doing table service meals, you'll also want to budget more for those as well. But in total, $250 Canadian dollars is what I spent on food. For coffee and drinks, I got Starbucks twice and I got Joffrey's once. Joffrey's was so expensive and it didn't even taste that good. I'm not gonna lie. They didn't really know what they were doing at the Joffrey's cart, but normally Joffrey's coffee is really good. Like this is Joffrey's right here, right now. I used to get Joffrey's all the time over the summer, and this time I had it, it was not that good, and then it came out to like $13.87 in Canadian dollars, and I was like, that was the most expensive, one of the worst coffees I've ever had. Anyway, I also got a Disney refillable drink mug. This was amazing because it included all the pop, coffee, hot chocolate, teas, any of that I wanted. It was all included in the refillable drink mug when I was at any Disney World Resort hotel. The cost for the mug now, I don't think is $25. I think I put that down wrong because I was just thinking I'm gonna delete that. But it did come out to $32.20 Canadian on the gift card for sure. So in total for drinks and that, I spent $63.13. When you consider the fact that I was getting 1 to 2 refills of just like pop, lemonade, Powerade, whatever a day, if not more in the drink mug, and then also 1 to 2 plus coffees a day in the drink mug, it definitely works out to being well worth it. Would I have bought this many pops or coffees in general? No, I probably would have made coffee in the room and I probably just would have stuck to water with the odd pop here and there. At the same time, I find this just gives me a lot more freedom, flexibility to kind of drink what I want to, and then once I have the mug purchased, I really don't have to worry about it anymore. So that freedom is just really important to me. Then just going into merch, so I did buy a little bit of merch. This included some Christmas gifts, some gifts for other people, some obviously some stuff for myself. I spent about $203.59 Canadian dollars on merch while I was there. Obviously this is an optional cost. I came home with a fair amount. Like, I mean, I got my munchling, I got a big Christmas sweater for myself, I got a new keychain, I got earrings. Honestly, I did spend a lot more on merch than what I was thinking I would. That's for sure. I bought some stuff last minute at the airport. Yeah, so I did spend a lot more on merch than what I thought I was going to, for sure. But you know what? No regrets. To be honest, I don't know when I'm going back to Florida, so I just kind of went for it. As for emergency trip costs, this is stuff that I wasn't really expecting to incur. My flight ended up getting canceled. WestJet completely crashed while I was in Florida, and it just happened to be on the day that I was departing for my flight. My flight got canceled. It was a mess. I had to book an emergency trip because the flight they tried to put me on was 2 days later. I'm still working with them to get refunds, all that kind of stuff. It was just very messy. So that was a big portion of my emergency trip costs. I'm working with my insurance right now, my travel insurance, all that. I'm trying to get it back. We'll see what happens. But at this point, so ignore the fuel rod for a second. WestJet, I had to pay $742.17 for a new flight same day. That's like 2 flights to Florida, round trip, regular cost. It like hurts in here, you know? And then because I had to buy the bag same day as well, again, it was $40.82 Canadian dollars. It hurts. And I'm still mad about this situation. Anyway, WestJet refunded me automatically for the flight and the bag that I didn't bring. So my flight that I was supposed to have got refunded, and the bag that I was supposed to have got refunded too. So $119.85 for the one way and $31.50 for the bag. That was quite costly, out of pocket, right out of my savings, right out of my like emergency fund money. To be honest, I didn't really have, but they were going to put me on a night flight 2 days later, and I had exams. They weren't really going to pay for a hotel for me. It was going to be a whole thing. So anyway, I had to buy that. And then a fuel rod. So I lost my fuel rod. It just like got up and walked away at some point on the trip. I went to the pool with it. I came back. I went through my bag and it was gone. So somewhere between like the pool and my room, I dropped it. I'm not sure. It disappeared. It walked away, and that is something. I didn't have any other portable chargers with me. My phone battery, I've had my phone for like 1.5 years now. It's not the best anymore. And with Disney, you're like constantly using your phone. I use my phone for vlogging. I use my phone for photo taking. I use my phone for like booking lightning lanes in the parks, all that kind of stuff. I was like, I can't be without a charger. So I got another fuel rod because I do find they're worth it in the long run. Did I want to buy it? No. Did I expect to have a $45 Canadian charge with it? No, but it is something that I unfortunately did need to purchase again. So in total, emergency costs, it was $676.54, which, yeah, is a lot of money. In total, this trip cost me $200, I wish. In total, this trip cost me $2,593.49 with all the emergency costs included in Canadian dollars. Take away the emergency cost because that's not something I expected. I'm hoping to get a refund on that. It's just like, I feel like in my brain it's like those don't count towards the trip cost because stuff happens, and that wasn't really, like, it was part of the trip but it wasn't part of the trip. I don't know, do you get me? Anyway, without the emergency costs, it's $1,961.85 Canadian dollars. So under the $2,000, everything, all of it included, and then in US dollars, that's about $1,493.85. Realistically, I probably could have got that cost down to about $1,200 US dollars if I really was working, like, I really wanted to do the most minimal purchasing on a trip as possible. I could have got that down to about $1,200. And that's the cost of my Disney trip. So that's honestly probably like an average cost for me for a Disney trip. November is like a more expensive month, so when about a year and a half ago now I went in August, the cost was about the same, and that included more days, but it was in the cheaper time. My September trip was a little bit cheaper because I wasn't going as many days, and it was during the cheaper time as well. My May trip was more money because I stayed at like more expensive hotels, but that is approximately what I budgeted for my Disney trip, and also just ways I was able to save a little bit of money. And yeah, so I hope this helped you if you are going on a trip soon or trying to budget for a trip or anything like that. Thank you so much for watching. The next video you see will be December 1st with Vlogmas, and I hope you have a magical rest of your day.